Okay, we're working on an abstract art drawing right now. I should have included. Let me see if I can fix this before I go any further. Let me go in my YouTube studio. I've got a couple minutes here. 5. Okay, art drawing. Okay, tubes and. Okay, there. Okay, so what I've got here is 3 colors. And I've got 3 colors. So I'm going to be working with all 3 colors. So I'm going to start here. I don't have anything special attached anywhere. So you'll see a lot of folk. I'm just going to start. Well, actually, I'm just going to use this like this. We're just getting started here. I'm probably going to have 8 stars when I'm done. Okay, so that's my first 4, and then I'm going to go up here. Now, so you'll see some people will measure things out. I'm not measuring anything out. This one is a really weird shape. We're putting our star inside of a rounded edged cube is what we've done. We've put it inside of a cube there. Okay. And so now this is what I'm going to do with this edge is we're going to just go down here into the center like this. Right there like that. Then we're going to go down to the center like that. We're starting here, go into the center like this. Okay, we're starting here, go into the center like this. See, we've already got a beautiful star here. Do you see that? See I mean, this could be how to fit a 8-pointed star into a cube. I've got it fit in there pretty nice. That's pretty, and I didn't measure anything at all. I decided I did not want to measure anything, but I wanted to put it kind of in a Minecraft type of a cube. A cube. Okay, and so now what I'm going to do here is, okay, so I'm just going to kind of start, okay, right here, and we're going to offset every so often, but we're going to carry it on down here into this point. We're going to blend everything off into the point, and you're going to see the part down here at the base get darker. If you want more lines, you can add more lines. It's your project. You can, hello, hello, what does that say? Washington? Oh, how come I'm not seeing my comments here on my screen? Okay, I need to, let me see so I can read better. I'm going to my screen on the computer so I can read better. Okay, do I have my comments on? Yes. Okay, Washington Crazy. Wizened said hello. Hello, yes. Okay, so at time code 1112, Washington Crazy, and then Wizened said hello. Yes, I'm not sure what you mean by Washington is crazy. I think if you're saying that Washington is crazy, I agree with you. As far as that goes. If you're actually talking about Washington, D.C., you are absolutely right that Washington is crazy. Okay. Do I have, now I have 2 of the same ones up. Okay, I need to go back into my history to see what I was looking at. Okay, I was looking at, okay, I might have went no, I don't think I did it wrong. Okay, so I'm just going to keep on doing here what I was doing, which is this. Going on around here. And so they're all kind of going to bend together. And so we've got this. Well, that's really pretty. Okay, so I picked 3 colors, and I'm trying to think now why I picked 3 colors. But I wanted to use 3 colors in here. So we're using pink right now. So we've got a pink star. We're using a pink star. Okay. So this is a nice Sunday morning art project to work on, is just a little bit of doodling if you don't have anything to do and you're trying to get geared up. Either you're retired or you're going back to work or you can't find a job and you want to take your mind off of things, and so because you don't have any help. Thank you. Thank you, Linda. Linda Theo, is that, did I get that right? Yes, Linda Theo. Okay, because sometimes when I do these, sometimes I mess up a little bit. And so, and sometimes I just go in the wrong direction, and sometimes it still works out no matter what direction I go. It's kind of like the GPS, when it tells you to go one direction. And then the funny part about the GPS is that you realize that the GPS has not been updated because you got to hook it up to the computer to get it updated. And then you find out, well, you got to pay then to get it updated, and that's frustrating. Okay, so we're going around. And I'm confused sometimes too when I hear people say that we're not supposed to believe some of this stuff. And I hear stuff about people who are struggling, like people in Florida and stuff like that. They're talking about they're struggling. Are we not supposed to believe that? I mean, now the thing is I've heard from people who lived in Florida personally, and they told me they were struggling. And the retired senior citizens too, um, because of everything that's happened. And they're saying they have no help related to some things going on. And so I'm confused. So when you say Washington is crazy, did you delete that comment, you little stinker? Oh no, it's still there on my um let's see. Let me refresh. Let me see if I do all. No, it's still there. Well, that's funny because on my screen I'm getting different comments than what I'm getting all the comments on my laptop, where on my computer screen I'm not getting all the comments, and that's kind of strange related to that. Okay, so now I'm making these little lines here a little bit thicker. I'm making these lines a little bit thicker. So I'm trying to cover up some of the, I should have done my template with pencil instead of the ink that I used, but that's okay. I'll know the next time to do pencil instead, and then I can kind of erase it. But I'm kind of trying to blend it in, um, so then it doesn't look like there's any ink there. That's what I'm trying to do here. And so, okay, so since I did mine a little bit different than I'm going to, um, what I'm going to do is take I'm going to use this corner down here, and I'm going to do them just like this. And so this is how I'm making mine. So mine is going to look a little bit different than what you are going to see on some of the other videos on YouTube. It's still going to work, but it's not going to look like some of the other ones that you see on YouTube. It's just going to be slightly different. That's all. That's all that's going to happen. Okay, so I'm starting right down here, and then going up halfway right here about like this. And so then some of it's going to be following along the pink line. So the colors are going to be blended in here together just like this. So it's going to get darker, and that's what's supposed to happen. It's supposed to get darker like that. So when we carry, if you want to trace over them, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. I kind of like the blended in darker lines sometimes. Okay, so I'm going to start down here, go up this direction, the center like that. Just like that. I like that. Actually, I like that, even though it doesn't. It still works, even though it's not like the one that I watched on the internet, on YouTube. It still works, actually, which, the one on the internet or on YouTube has kind of a different rounding to it. But see, I always mess up. And so if I would have done it, so the direction they use is from here over here. But see, I went in this direction instead of taking my line back this direction with my half line. So I just went in a different direction than what, if I was going to do my lines, what they did was this direction, and I went down the, I don't know. Hopefully it'll make sense. So otherwise our lines get going in this different, they would be going, if I did it like the one in the video, the lines would be going this way, and then we wouldn't get the opposite direction effect of the lines. And so do you see how they're kind of curving out? And I know it would look a little bit different if I actually used the same color. It probably would have more of an effect if I would have just used one color, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm just not sure, but I wanted to use multiple colors on this one. Okay. This is kind of fun too because we squished it into a cube. Now I'm not, there's one more row that I have to put on here. I have one more row that I have to put on. Oh, it looks a lot like leaves though, too. That's really pretty. I like that a lot though. But you know what I'm going to do before I move along any further and show the rest of it? I'm going to, well, maybe I should finish it. I want to make this line a little bit darker right here for some reason. And going down here, kind of to show some definition of my leaf, but they're not all blended in. My petal. That's what I'm doing here with this. Okay. Oh, that has it popping out a lot more. Okay, let me see what it looks like. Oh, okay. So I'm going to show y'all. So you see, this is where I made the lines a little bit darker, and I like that because it makes them pop out. And so I'm just going up here right where I ended right here, just to give it a little bit more depth. That's all I'm doing, is giving it a little bit more depth, making the line just a little bit thicker. I mean, and you can make it, it's kind of like the shading thing. When someone takes a pencil and they shade, it's kind of the same principle here. I could add a little bit more lines in here too. There. There, I like that. Oh my goodness, I really like that a lot. I just wish I didn't have my cube. Well, I don't know. The flower still looks round inside of the cube. It really does look round inside of the cube. Some of the petals might be a little bit longer. Oh, I have a couple more. I thought I was done. I have a couple more here that I need to make right here. Make them pop out just a little bit. Okay. Now I have one more, I guess I'm going to call it a movement that I need to do related to the edge, to the outside edge here. Now let me see if I can do this without messing it up. This is the part that I will, because I'm going to be having to do this really long. I might not have enough. Okay. I'm taking it into the same spot here. And I am going outside of my line here. I might have messed up. Did I mess up? I think I probably messed up a little bit. Or did I? I don't know yet. Let me see. I'm looking at... Yeah, well, I didn't give myself a whole lot of room with these petals. So it's just going to have to be this way. That's what's going to happen. It's just going to have to be this way. So I took it far outside of my... Far outside of my cube line there. Now I'm kind of looking at this thinking, well, maybe I just should have stopped at the 2 colors. I don't know yet. It don't look too bad, though. And we'll doctor it up. Actually, that's what I'm going to do, is doctor it up a little bit. Okay, so now we're back where we have a little bit more breathing room right here. We've got a little bit more breathing room right there. It's kind of like a spirograph a little bit, too. I mean, because when I was using my driving the paper exercise, whoop, I can't even find that video right now, driving the paper. I can't even find that one. Sometimes it's like I have a video that's on and then it just disappears. It's a live stream and then it just disappears and then eventually it might come back. And so I had my live stream of driving the paper when I made that, my design. And so like there's in my live stream, sometimes I'll have the ability to make a new, what is it called? I make a new short. I can make a new short and save the original in the video, and then it just disappears. And so I don't know what's going on. You know, sometimes I'll have a tool and then sometimes it disappears. I don't know if it's actually 2 platforms that are getting messed up, or if YouTube is changing platforms, or they're getting bogged down with each other. I mean, that's what it seems like sometimes, is that they've got a couple of platforms that are getting bogged down with each other. So I'm just adding in a few more lines in here just to make it look more curvy, because I like the darker additional lines that we put in here. Now I think that I can still see my cube there. Yeah, I can still see my cube. I can still see my cube line, but it's not like overbearing by any means. It's not overbearing. And so when I go over with these lines, then it kind of blends the cube line in. So we started out with a cube. Now it does have kind of a cube shape on the flower. It's really pretty though. I mean, I thought I had messed up completely, even adding this blue part on, this additional part. But I really didn't. It still looks really pretty doing it this way. Something so simple. I mean, you could do it with pencil. Oops, let's keep it in camera so we can see it. I'm notorious for going outside of the camera sometimes. Yeah, so I can still see a little bit of the line that I used, which is okay. I'm wondering if there's, maybe I should add a fourth color in. I could add a fourth color in and see if I can, or would I mess it up completely if I added a fourth color in? Just a little bit of blending. That's all I really want to do, is a little bit of blending. A little bit more blending. Let me see. Now I was thinking maybe I can blend in some of, I'm gonna give it a try and see if I can blend in some of that line. Now let me look here in my colors and see what color I want to use. I'm thinking yellow. So it's going to be kind of a, because yellow is going to, either yellow or purple. I'm not sure. Let's see. If anybody's still here, this is where I want to work in right here. Okay, that color, we already have blue. I don't want to use that one. It's either going to be yellow or red. Red, I think, will give us a purple, which I think I have a purple pen. Or do I? Yeah, I do have a purple pen. So purple would just make it a little bit darker. If I used purple, it's not going to stand out that much. Yellow's going to make it a little more green. Red is going to be a little bit purple. And so I'm not sure which color to use, because I'm thinking, right down there in that edge, it's going to be dark anyway. I'm kind of leaning with yellow. So let's give yellow a little bit of a go. I'm just kind of filling in a little bit. That's all I'm doing. I don't know. I feel like it's missing something on, I'm not sure what it's missing. I just feel, maybe I need to fill my lines in a little bit more. I'm not sure here. I just don't know. What are we getting? Oh, we're getting a good morning from TikTok. We're getting a little bit of a good morning message from TikTok right now. But you know what? I kind of liked the little ruffly. That's what I really liked, was the little ruffly things. And so this one we can kind of see it a little bit. I don't know though. Okay, so when I added the yellow in there, I'm just not so sure about the yellow right now. It didn't turn green like I thought it was going to. So these colors are actually they're actually not gonna blend. And that's fine. Like with watercolors and pencils, I'm just going to add a little bit of yellow in the rest of this right here. That's what I'm going to do. Just a little bit. Not a lot, just a little. That's what we're going to do, like this. Okay. That's not too bad. Now this one is actually missing. I think it's because of the edge. I'm just going to go on ahead and do this. I was trying to make it a little bit larger, but see what, when I do it like this on a smaller cardstock piece of paper, then it makes it a little bit more challenging. And actually, I'm not even using something I bought. I'm just using something. Should I show you guys what I used? I should show you guys what I used. You'll laugh. You'll laugh at me. I'm just using, can be considered a recycling type of a project. So if anybody, it's just cardboard from a piece from a piece of food product. Let's see what I ate. Oh, these are really good. This is what it's from. You see that? These are perfect for doing drawings on. So if you're like a school teacher or something like that, it's a great idea for doing projects. Free cardstock, and you got a food product on the back. Perfect for doing small art projects. Just perfect. I think so anyway. And so you get the different shapes and things like that. So look at that. This is a great recycling project. Really nice heavy cardstock. I mean, and I think, the thing I think about is this cardstock, this heavy, they sell for a huge, huge price in the craft store. I mean, it's kind of like the yarn. The price of yarn keeps going up higher, and cardstock goes up higher. But yet they've got all this wasted paper on the boxes and stuff like that. And so we can draw on the back side. And these are actually decent. I just want to say this. It is ready in 60 seconds. I think you put them in the microwave for, you can do 60 seconds or 90 seconds without burning your face off. And no, this is not a product placement at all. I don't have any type of brand deals or sponsored deals. I'm not earning any revenue at this time at all. I don't anticipate to right now that I will. But I mean, these are nice, and they don't have a lot of salt in them either. So they're actually not putting a lot of salt in this food like this. So if you're ever in a big pickle, you can even eat these without heating them up in the microwave. And so they're called the shelf stable. And so I just wanted to say that, but I wasn't going to show it, and then I thought about it, and I thought maybe I should, because there's a lot of people like me who like to do things really, really inexpensive. This is one of them. And now the thing is, these things by themselves, the meals, like they can be expensive, $2 or $3 just for it's very small. Let's see how many ounces is it? 7.5 ounces. So it's a proportioned meal. And so it is pretty small. So you're not going to be eating a lot when you get one of those. You might feel hungry sometimes. And I know for me, sometimes I feel more hungry than other times, which is, I don't know why, but they're good though. The spaghetti, the majority of them are good. And with the spaghetti not spaghetti, with the chili that they had, I never had a problem with that chili. Now I've had a problem with the canned chili, and a big, big amount of indigestion with the canned chili. So I've had to back away from the canned chili. Okay, we're right at 35 minutes, and here's where I need a spinner. I want to make a kaleidoscope. I need a little spinner to make a kaleidoscope. I'll do a kaleidoscope effect later on with my shorts. I'll probably use a cubism shorts is what I'll do. And I'll use this and make something. Sometimes it makes a face, and sometimes the cubism AI makes, I mean, the face stuff is really cool. They make like, it looks like tiki torches with the AI cubism on YouTube, special effects. And then other times it actually makes the shape of what I drew. And so, yeah, that looks just as good as the, it looks pretty decent as far as that goes. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit and see if I can, I'm going to do this for a screenshot. I need, yeah, for my screen, not that far. Okay, I need to do a screenshot to put in my thumbnail. And so YouTube, for some reason, the algorithm has never just came up, you know, so when I do this at the end of the video, the programmers actually could, you know, so if we all just started putting our finished project at the end, so we can't put it in at the beginning because we don't know what it's going to look like. That's why we don't have a thumbnail that's placed in at the beginning, because we don't know what it's going to look like. It's not pre-recorded. So we have a lot of people on YouTube who are actually telling us that we'll get more views if we have a thumbnail put in. But it's like, well, okay, we can't do that in advance. We're not Hollywood. We're actually making our project first. And this is what we were doing at the beginning of YouTube, when we just had our hands in the video. We were drawing something and it was a piece of artwork, and then this element of people came along telling us, it's like, well, you need to have a thumbnail so you look more professional. And so the thumbnails, oh, I know what was going on with the thumbnails. There was sort of a hack. So they were clickbaiting, and I don't remember what the time code was for the hack, but some of the content creators at the beginning of YouTube had figured out, because we couldn't even put thumbnails in at all. And so they wanted to put in women in bikinis. That's what they wanted to do, was put in women with bikinis so that they would get more views, because they knew that they could get more views if they put in a woman in a bikini on YouTube, because what they said is they would get the little boys to watch their videos, even though the guy in the video had nothing. Uh-oh, I colored in the wrong. I just colored in the wrong place, didn't I? That's kind of pretty though. I think I'm going to go ahead and do these too. But that's what's called the thumbnail clickbait. And so people were talking about that. Usually it was some guy in the video that was just talking, and so they put in a woman from the beach in a bikini. Then they'd get all these little boys looking at the video, because they knew that puberty boys were looking. They knew exactly what they were looking for on the internet when they went on the internet. Let's put it that way. And so I don't have to fill in any more information on that. And so they were using clickbait images of women in bikinis just to get views. So right now we have what people are calling, they're calling it rage baiting for views. Well, it's rage clickbaiting is what it is. It is baiting, rage baiting, it's clickbaiting, it's the same thing. It's the same premise as a man who is taking and putting in some woman's bikini bottoms or her chest for views on the internet, and then it's him sitting there talking about nothing all day long. And so, you know, I mean, so he's not even trying. There's a lot of men who actually will try to do something, but some of them just don't try at all. They're just repeating a bunch of words in the algorithm to actually artificially favor views to their channel. That's the thing I don't like about the algorithm with how it works. You know, because the thing I've always said is that, well, then crochet and even artwork can get misdiagnosed as spam. And so if I'm talking about a double crochet, and I'm using this as an example, so if I'm repeating, wrap the yarn over your hook, put your hook below the 2 loops, wrap the yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We've completed the double crochet. Well, then I'm saying the same thing over and over again. And so if the algorithm, or if YouTube's algorithm views that as spam because I'm saying it, and then it shows up in every place that it's read, then it can be misdiagnosed as spam when it's not. And that's the thing that I find frustrating with everyone saying, oh, well, what you're doing is spam. It's spam, when it's not spam. Actually, the yellow and green looks, that made it look really cool. This one, I think what I'm going to do with that one, I think I'm going to add the purple in there. I'm going to go on ahead and add the purple in there. That's what I'm going to do. I think that's what I'm going to do. Let's see what goes on here. Let's see if I mess it up too much. Did I mess it up too much? Hopefully not. No, on camera it looks, I kind of like it. Sometimes it's so funny on camera. I like it a little bit better immediately than I do when I've first done it. Yeah, I'm just going to add a little bit of purple in there just to... But I like the yellow in there too. The yellow looks really pretty. So it just adds a little bit more depth, showing that it's going down into... And so that's how you end up with the YouTube channels that are just repeating the word yarn over and over again. And how they ended up with 1 million YouTube subscribers is they just made content just using the word yarn. That's all they did. So it's not, I mean, they didn't even have to be able to, so they were part of the, what do you call it? The email lists and search engine optimization people, networks, I believe. And so there was things then that just came out of Hollywood, and then they're just repeating the word yarn, yarn, yarn. And then people who actually want to learn how to crochet are kind of just left with wondering, well, why in the world is this person, they're just talking about yarn and yarn balls. That's all they're talking about. They're not even teaching anything. They're just selling yarn. And that's what YouTube and the search engine optimization people the gurus on YouTube who have worked with Google, and that's what they were saying. Well, tell a story about what you're doing. It's like, well, it's really hard when you're teaching. I mean, most school teachers don't tell a story. They do have storybooks that they teach their students. But when you're teaching a skill like crochet that takes a long time and it takes a lot of video space, or it can when you're showing a pattern or how to do something. But it's like I know myself, I've never sold yarn. I don't plan on it. I don't want to. But yet the yarn companies, this is all I noticed with the yarn companies. And yes, I am griping a little bit here at the end. With the yarn companies, what they did was exploited social media content creators for their brand. And as the internet got more popular, the yarn companies started raising their prices higher and higher and higher. Well, how in the world is that? Like, they started raising their prices higher and higher while people were sharing their yarn brands for free. And so for me, I think it was about 8 to 10 years ago, I had said, this is stupid. The yarn companies aren't doing anything for me. They're not paying me. I'm not a sponsor. And they got their sponsor out of Los Angeles, who was Deborah Norville and Vanna White. And I thought, why should I share a brand on the internet? I'm not going to do it because the yarn companies really don't want to work with us. They just want the money. They don't want to work with us at all. Why is... What happened here? Why has chat been disconnected? Oh, I connected back up again. I must have had a little bit of throttling. You know what? I almost want to take this part. Yeah, we'll do it a little bit like that. We'll blend it in just a little bit more like this. And yeah, so that was where I was at with the brands, because it's like you've got individual people. So they were on the internet telling us that, well, tell a story, and it's like, well, okay, well, we're basically talking about ourselves. We're content creators. You wanted us to talk about ourselves a little bit, share about who we are, where we came from, and then you used against us. You turn and use it against us to destroy our YouTube channel, and mine anyway. And so where I can't earn revenue from it, but I know it was happening to other people too. I know exactly who it was happening to, and they were upset because they said that what they do will never be on YouTube. It will never be monetized because they're always saying it's too dangerous with what they do. That's the police and the military, the people who fight for the freedoms of the United States of America are the ones who get censored off of the internet. And that's because that's why you have AI Donald Trump right now. I'm going to tell you guys that is absolutely why you have AI Donald Trump right now, because he is expressing the First Amendment in words. You might end up with screenshots again. The word shot, screenshot, we use that on the internet a lot. And so there's some intermingling and things taken out of context with the internet. And it's like, if you're going to do the stupid stuff and you're going to harm, it's like, I'm not Hollywood. I've never been a part of that game. I've never been on a payroll, but yet you destroyed my YouTube channel. I never even had a chance, actually. I was just doing something new, but I never even had a chance. So you guys just successfully destroyed that and took it away from me. That's all you did. Now, I get the thing with the kids, keep them off of the internet as far as that goes, because they said right now every kid wants to be a social media influencer right now. And it's like, well, okay, let me tell you this. If you didn't have the public school teachers quitting their daytime jobs, who they went to college for their careers to be. Is this going to update? What is this thing? Is so slow. Is it lagging? There we go. Oh, that's really pretty. It is looking a little bit three-dimensional. I like the last row of petals, and then I don't like it, and so I'm not quite sure yet. Maybe it's one of those things that I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it worse. I'm just going to so I'm just going to I'm going to make a dark row of, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to make a really thick line here. Okay. Like that. There. Let's see if that. Okay. I'm not sure if I should do purple or blue or blend the both of them in together. That looks a little bit better. I'm liking that a little bit better with a darker line on the outside. Now what I've done with the combination of purple and blue and yellow, I have made kind of a brown color in here. It looks like wheat. It looks kind of like a wheat color. Oh, I've been getting these stories too. This is going to sound really strange, and I thought it was strange myself. All these stories about these wheat pennies that they're saying these wheat pennies are worth like $50,000 or something like that. I know when I was a kid, I think the highest amount, they said something if we ever found a wheat penny, that they were worth maybe $5 at the most. Now they're saying the wheat pennies are $50,000. I was like, I don't believe it. And the same thing with, I just thought it was fun to look for the wheat pennies when we would find them. That was a favorite thing I did when I was a kid. I would ask my dad if he had any change, and he would let us look through our pennies, and then we'd give him his change back. Usually he would let us keep the penny because we had like a penny collection. And that was something we did when we were kids, was collected pennies. And we looked for old ones that were before the age of the 1940s. We would look for the ones that were still in circulation from the 1940s. Some of them looked really bad too. They had a bunch of green, they were green and had corrosion on them. And we'd take it to the store and they never had a problem at all accepting it. They would take it, and I always wondered if they took it out of circulation. And when I worked for retail, we just boxed them up. Yeah, boxed them up in the little paper sleeves. We would roll them up and put them in the little paper sleeves and then ship it off to wherever it was going to back to the bank, and probably ended up back in circulation again. Okay, I like that a lot better. Oh my gosh, yeah, I like that a lot better. That looks a lot better like that. Yeah, so all I'm doing is basically enhancing the line here on the outside. I'm kind of feeling like maybe I do need to get, which pen was it that I was going to have here? Let me see what pen that, I am going to mix in a little bit of, what's this? The scam detector. Oh, McAfee. Oh, I had this thing that popped up on my computer about McAfee and the scam detector built in. And, oh, that's something I should... the scam detector with McAfee antivirus and Norton antivirus. Let's talk about that for a little bit. Because there was a whole bunch of names of the viruses with the computer. I don't have McAfee or Norton on my computer. And so sometimes I kind of thought, I started thinking that with the names they were using, like with the Trojan horse and stuff like that, so they would have the Trojan horse, and let me see if I can find some of the names. If there's a place where I can find some of the names of the past historical, because I actually don't believe they were real viruses. Let me see here. McCaffe, McAfee. Well, that's a cafe. McAfee antivirus, and then Norton antivirus. I don't know. That always made me think of Newton's law. McAfee antivirus list of threats. That's what I'm looking for. McAfee list of threats. Identifies a way a wide range of the scams. Oh my goodness. So what I'm getting is an AI overview, but the malware, Malware, that's kind of one of those blur words. It's like malware, Mallwear, malware and malware. That's how I think of it. Malware is another word for malware, like the shopping at the shopping mall. Malware and malware. Hello. Oh, Allnover. Oh, Allnover, I know you're having problems getting someone to listen to you. You said what'd you say, you're 12 years old and the person that you're talking to is not listening to you, that you're a child, and they keep on talking about things that are not age appropriate for you. I'm thinking that, is that what you're referencing when you're trying to get through to this person and they keep talking about things that are not appropriate for kids? That's what I was wondering. um, that's what I was kind of feeling like. 13, and I said nope of that. Oh, I know, and the guy keeps on talking about inappropriate things, doesn't he? And I think that that's terrible that he goes on ahead and does that. And he's getting a whole bunch of young boys onto his channel for whatever reason. I don't know what he's doing. And I mean, I hope you guys will tell your parents or not be afraid to call the police if he does anything that I'm not going to say his name. I should say his name, but I'm not going to say his name. I was thinking that you know who I'm talking. The guy from Atlanta. Let's just leave it at that. The guy from Atlanta that you follow, the guy from Atlanta who says he has ties to the music industry, the hip hop music. You know exactly who I'm talking about. You know exactly who I'm talking about. Yeah. He's a rage baiter. He's a rage baiter, and he's doing that. He was doing that to you guys yesterday, and you know how he does that. How he's rage baiting you guys is that he puts you in timeout, and he wants you to be mad and then come back and post a bunch of comments on his videos. So he wants you to come back and watch his videos because he rage baited you using the YouTube moderation. That's what he's doing. So that's what a lot of these people are doing, is using the YouTube moderation to rage bait people because they get mad because they get kicked off of that channel. Well, then YouTube, its own terms of service will say, well, each person has a right to moderate their channel however they want to. And so then for some people, it makes them mad. Like for me, I will just want to go away. So he was doing that to me. And when I called him out on his BS, then he just will boot me off of the channel. So he's got you guys right now as moderators. So he's getting you guys to actually moderate me off of his channel. You guys are working for free for him. And so he's getting some of you guys, and that's how he grooms people, and he did that with everybody. So when I first came across him, he put everybody on as a moderator. So that's the grooming process. It's like, hey, I'm here for everybody. And that's what he was saying. He's like, we want everybody to be able to talk about whatever they want to. And then he starts telling me that I'm too negative. And so the only thing that I was doing for a long time is I was just agreeing with him and saying, yeah, whatever. Because he doesn't. Oh, he never timed you out? There was one he timed out. It was Inferno Fire or Inferno. I think it was Inferno Fire he timed out yesterday. And then he told the guy, he's the young kid he's only like 12 years old. And he says, "Oh, you need to be in timeout. It's only for a minute." Well, what he's doing is he does that because he wants you guys mad. Now he's the one who is angry about something. I'm not sure what it is, but he's trying to use you guys to leave a whole bunch of comments. So historically what has been done in the past is that kids will get mad and then they go tell their friends. It wasn't him, it was Uravash. Oh, I'm not sure who it was, but I didn't think it was really nice because I was watching a little bit and I thought I'm just not even going to say anything because I did watch for a little bit and I thought, my gosh, he is doing things which is how I've seen the predators do things on the internet, on YouTube since the beginning. And so it's this thing of gaining a trust. Oh yeah, one of the mods. You see, yes, one of the mods. And see, I was a mod as well. And someone else, one of the mods had told Richard that they had told him that they thought I should be timed out. So one of the other moderators had told him they thought I should be timed out because I was saying something. And then Richard, he just starts in on and saying that I'm rage baiting him. And then he starts yelling at the camera. And I thought, well, wait a minute. What's wrong with him? And why does he have to yell at the camera? He says, can't you just talk about things that I want to talk about and things that make people happy? Which I don't, yeah, I know he calls me crazy. I don't know why. I don't know why he does that because he's the one. You know what I heard? He is in a big mansion and there is a woman who came to his door yesterday. If you guys would have listened to that, there was a woman who knocked on his door and then he put his camera, he put his microphone on mute. And so there was a woman that was there yesterday. So I think he's in a state mental hospital or something. And so he's probably not telling you guys the full truth of what's going on with where he is staying at and what's going on. Because I think he might be in one of those halfway houses where they put a bunch of people together in a home. And, so I don't know. I mean, he doesn't even know me. That's the whole thing. He doesn't know me, and he just immediately started calling me crazy for some reason. And then he says he doesn't believe me, and it's like, okay, if he doesn't believe me, I'm not going to waste my time on his channel. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to waste my time there because I already see what he's up to. He said he used to work for Disney. It was his neighbor. Yeah, but okay, so does he just live in that tiny room? Because if it was his neighbor, somebody would have had to let his neighbor inside of the house for that person to knock on his room, because that was not his front door. That wasn't the front door of his house. They were knocking on his bedroom door or whatever room that it was that he was in. That's the room that they were knocking on. But he said he used to be part of Disney, and he used to be part of, or he said he'd worked for Disney, he'd worked for the rap industry, and he said he was supposed to be teaching people about the industry. And I had written to him before he moderated me off of his channel, and I said, okay, if that's true, why do you need me? Why do you need me to write things in the comment to prompt you on what to talk about? You can just do it by yourself. If you know all this stuff, just share the information by yourself, and I don't need to type anything. And then you won't feel enraged if I go and talk about something else. Then you won't start feeling enraged because he can't control his emotions. And he was rage baiting on you guys yesterday. I was not there. I was watching. I was not there in the chat. I was watching, and he was doing the same identical thing to you guys. And so rage baiting is a tactic, to get young kids and people who get moderated, who can't write what they want to write. That's a tactic to get monetized. And you can actually research that on the internet. What do you mean? Maybe you should chill what? I'm not sure what you mean by chill, as in what you're talking about. So I don't even, I'm not, the thing is, I've watched him a little bit, and so I'm just on the, I think the most that I've known this man is maybe 2 months through the internet. I have no idea who he is. The most that I have known who this person is, that you know who I'm talking about, is 2 months at the most. And then he tells me that he doesn't believe me. And so I was writing to him, and I had said, well, you want to call me a liar. Well, so if you want to call everybody else a liar, then what would make anyone else believe that you're telling the truth? Because he said that he quit his other jobs to be on YouTube, and then he said he's earning his revenue. I don't know what you're talking about, that I'm sounding angry. I would have to be, I'm talking quiet. I'm close to the camera and I'm talking very, very quiet right now. So I don't know what you're referencing, that I sound angry, because that's just the voice that I have. And so if I have a little bit of whatever it is, it's because of things of who I was married to. Do you need me to give you an example of what angry sounds like? I mean, is that something that you would like, is for me to give you an example of what angry sounds like? Because I'm not putting moderators on my channel. I don't need moderators. Because if I see something on here, I'll just moderate it off myself. It's not like I get that many comments to begin with anyway. And so for me, I'm just, are you, so you said you're 12 or 13 years old. So why is it that you're professing that I sound angry? Because is it because of the fact that I don't sound like what you think a stereotypical woman should sound like? Is that what it is? Okay, so you don't need me to share with you. I mean, because I have video from when I was married, and I can share with you what angry sounds like. And it's not me. Now, maybe I picked a little bit of it up from the person that I was married to, and that's why I don't like listening to Richard, because he sounds a whole lot like my ex-husband. A whole lot. Not just a little. He sounds a whole lot. Now, my ex-husband was influenced by the rap music, and so it seems like there is some rage baiting that's coming out of the rap music industry that that causes them anger and rage in the music. And I have said that before, that it is influencing negative behaviors, and of things that are not good or healthy for society. And I said, if they're going to write about it in their music, that means they've done it. If they're going to write about it, and so the thing is, what's happening is that there are people who write about these things on the internet. Oh, I came across a guy who said he was over on TikTok, I think. No, I'm just thinking that you were angry about, oh, I'm not angry about him at all. The thing is, I listened to him yesterday, and then when he starts getting angry, I'm not angry about him at all, because the thing is, he's someone that I just met through this channel I'm on right now, maybe about 2 months ago. And so it's like, it's not even a relationship. It's not even a relationship. I don't know the man. I don't know who he is. He told me that I can't, that someone had told him that I could help him with his YouTube channel, which I thought was kind of strange. It's like, well, what would make him think that I could help him with his YouTube channel? And I thought that sounded strange. It's like, well, why are you coming to me thinking that I can help you with your YouTube channel? And that's what he told me specifically, was that he thought I could help him with his YouTube channel. And it's like, well, what is it that I'm doing? And now he had told me that he wanted me to go on camera with him. He thought it would be great if I went on camera with him. But there was one time I said, well, it would be nice if I could go on a live stream. Do you know One Piece? I don't know what One Piece is. Like one piece of pie, or is that a song? Like piece, or a piece of pie? Or do you now One Piece? I'm not sure what that is. And so I have to stay away from, I'm making a choice to stay away from those who I sense, and I still come across them often. Last year they were really, really bad, and they were raging on both TikTok and on YouTube. And now YouTube does not have anything in their terms of service related to rage baiting. Rage baiting is just like when someone takes and puts a bikini of a woman in their video thumbnail, and then there's nothing in the video about a woman in a bikini. They're not even at the beach. They're just using it as clickbait, just the same thing as rage baiting. So the rage baiting came out of MSNBC. And so if you guys actually want to, that might be above your head. I mean, because I know I don't like watching that. Oh, the anime. Oh, anime. Um, I have like chibi. Are you talking about chibi? Like anime, things like that? I have made a little bit of chibi and anime type artwork, and I find that to be a lot of fun. Because I can make some quick little things. Um, there's things within the artificial intelligence of image making that I have made. And oh, you know what? You know who does chibi? What is his name? Oh, Mark Crilly. Mark Crilly, or Mark Criley is his name. Are you familiar with Mark Crilly? He's on YouTube. And he's an artist who does anime. Anime. He is a really good teacher, and I can still watch his old original YouTube videos. And that's the thing that I found really strange when they were telling us that we had to make professional videos, because Mark Crilly, he had his videos looked just identical to what mine did, related when I was teaching crochet. Um, we had the old box size, and not very good lighting. And, and I started looking at his and mine, and I thought, what are people complaining about that we have to make professional videos? I mean, we're doing the best we can with what little bit that we have. And, but then the trends changed. So, anime is a trend. It's Anime, anime. If you say it anime, it can sound like the enemy, the enemy, THEAN, or it sounds like anime, the name. And if you guys remember I don't know if you watched, I don't even know if I should say this because you're young, but at the same time, young kids have to deal with some abuses. So what I'm going to say, I don't know if you have ever watched the movie Ike Turner with Tina Turner, or if you even know who they are, but there was a phrase that was called Eat the Cake. Eat the Cake anime, Eat the Cake, and he was mean to his wife. I think I can describe it like that. That he was very mean to his wife, and Ike Turner was very mean to his wife. And then at one point we had Hurricane Ike, and then Ike is also Eisenhower. Do you remember President Eisenhower? So this is how the trends are working on the internet. Um, a lot of people, I think there's a few people who see it. You know, when they talk about the Matrix, it's like all you have to do is be on YouTube for maybe 5 to 10 years. Right now, I think they're pushing that level up to maybe just a couple of years and making people see the trends a little bit faster. With the Operation Warp Speed, I think they're seeing the trends a little bit faster, and the current president is actually helping out with that, with some of the things that he's repeating over and over again. And so if you go to the artificial intelligence president, let's see what he comes up as. There's a specific name. Oh, it's a live stream. Ask AI President a Question is what it's called. You may not be able to ask the president a question. Do I watch? No, I don't watch anime. No, I don't watch anime. Nope. I might find a guy, you know, I might find a guy like Mark Crilly who draws anime, but no, I don't watch anime. Anime is, it just sounds like the name anime, like a woman's name, anime. That's how it's pronounced, is anime. Anna, Annamay. Anna May. I believe the name anime was a very popular name from back in the day. Um, that young women were named anime. They were named anime. I had a relative, and she was my kid's great grandma, named Anime, and she never drove. She never drove, and my favorite anime is Spike's Family, but the best anime is One Piece. I will look it up and see what you're talking about. I hope my live stream will show back up so I can see what you're talking about. Sometimes it takes 24 hours maybe for the live stream to show back up. So you said One Piece. I'm not going to show anything on YouTube. I don't know what One Piece is. One Piece is kind of like onesies a little bit. One Piece anime. Let me see if I got to make sure that I have my. Okay, yeah, I got my sound block. I will look up here and see. Did you ever watch anime? Isn't anime sort of the same thing as cartoons? I mean, to me, anime is just cartoons. Anime One Piece. To me, it's just cartoons. Cartoons, to me, is anime. Anime One Piece. I don't know what that is. Let me see. I don't know why the name has changed because to me, anime is just cartoons. And so it's just like it just looks like a cartoon. I'm Luffy, the man who's going to be king of the pirates. Enter the great swordsman, pirate hunter, Rorona Zoro. Morgan versus Luffy, the mysterious pretty girl. Luffy's past. Enter red-haired Shanks. A terrifying, mysterious power Captain Buggy the Clown. I don't know what there's a whole bunch of epic showdown, swordsman Zoro versus acrobat Kabaji. Who is the victor devil? Fruit power showdown. Luffy is the king. Oh, he's the king. You know what I was looking at yesterday that I thought was really cool? This thing came up in front of me related to dragon fruit. I don't know, is dragon fruit ever in anime? Do you know if dragon fruit is ever in anime? Because I was looking at the dragon fruit and I thought, I love the look of the dragon fruit. And these guys were talking about how they took 4 different dragon fruit plants to crossbreed them and make different types of genetically modified dragon fruits. And so, but the original dragon fruit plant has this red flower at the end of it. And then when the plant is all bushy and everything, I thought it looks like a monster. And that's kind of the same thing with palm trees. When palm trees grow up out of the ground, I think they look like monsters when they're not cut, when they're not all cut and everything and trimmed, looking fancy for selling at the market. A lot of bushes look like monsters. And I think that's a lot of fun to look at the vegetation and wildlife, things that's in the wild, and then put like human arms on them, like a mushroom, for example. You can take a mushroom. Would you like to watch anime? Sure. Yeah, you could play some anime as far as that goes. It seems harmless, and I really like watching cartoons, and I get some good ideas. I mean, because I've watched some anime. I'd watch a lot of anime, probably. That would be kind of fun as far as that goes. I'd watch some of it. Because the thing is, when I watch things, I get some ideas from it. And I know there's people who will say that if we get an idea, oh, it's not cartoons. Oh, I already heard the president go ahead and play the anime. I know where this is going. Go ahead and play the anime, and I will see what it is. I've actually already seen this type of anime before back in 1997, which is probably 2 decades before you were born. I've seen this kind of anime before. So go ahead and bring it up into my feed. The president has already talked about this kind of anime. I think he called it corn anime is what it is. And go ahead and surface it up. It's not going to do anything for me, though. I'm not sure why you know about it. You're kind of young to be knowing about this stuff, which which has me like wondering where your parents are at, if you have access. No, it's not. Oh, it's action fights. Oh, okay. If it's action fights and it's not corn, then I'll be fine with that, So I know last year we could not use the P word. This year I think we can. And the thing that I have said is that if you can't say something, sometimes you might have to write it on paper. Because I know on YouTube last year we couldn't use the word porn. We could not use the word porn. And I could use it on my YouTube channel. I knew that much. I could say a lot of things on my YouTube channel, which went back to the premise of the beginning. So that's how I knew all these people on YouTube were lying when they said that YouTube was banning and moderating people. It's like, You're just using YouTube's tools to ban and moderate people, and then you're blaming YouTube for it because that's what they did. They've been rage baiting or rage promoting the comment section since the beginning of YouTube. Using YouTube's tools, and I'm no, you can say porn. I think it's necessary for I don't even know why you would know that word. I mean, that's kind of sad that you said you're 12 years old and you know that word. I think that's kind of sad. Um, unless it just comes out of the industry and you learned it from some rap music or something. I don't know. I mean, I think that I've had a theory that if we don't I but I don't do it. Yeah, I try not to do it either because the only thing that it does is surfaces more of that industry that I don't want to really talk about. But at the same time, I have this thought process that if we don't use correct language, then children have a very hard time expressing this to their parents, and they have a hard time expressing it to the police, who are police and counselors and teachers, the people that they should be if they have something bad happening to them, then they have a harder time. They may not even know what to call it. I mean, and that's why our government protects children as dearly as they do, for these very reasons. And that's because I am a Christian, so I don't cuss a lot. Well, and having grown up within Christianity, because I'm familiar with that area too. I was raised as a Christian, and my parents and grandparents were very devout Christians. And there was some curse words that I had no idea what they were until I got into middle school. I had never heard some of the curse words because the kids just didn't use them. And then there was this girl who came from a larger city, and the larger city area was only 25,000 people, so it wasn't like it was that big. But I thought someone had invented a new word. It was just a new word to me, but it wasn't a new word. It was something that had been around, and it's just that the people in my town just were not using the word. So, um, so my parents and the people at my school weren't using any of those words. Sometimes there was some little boys next door who actually would say some things, and they were kind of ornery, and they would say, oh, my mom said she laughed. She told me this when I was older. Um, Jesus is king. Um, okay, for example, I think, one of the things we learned about in school and farming is that they talk about how there's some pigs and sows. They want to keep them around for some reason, but they have them neutered and castrated. And so castrated is a word that it is talking about farm animal. It's a surgery for farm animals related to birth control. And so I think that, see, I don't know. Well, the thing is, if I was 12, there was things that when I was 12 years old that if my parents had not been scared to talk to me about those things, I may have understood them a little bit better. You have to take a shower. Okay, well, we'll see you later. Thank you for this conversation, and I was trying to keep it PG or G rated, because I know you said you're 12 years old and you have things that you want to say, and I know it's hard for kids to say things, and kids don't spell as well as the grammar Nazis who want to do things perfectly. I accept kids who don't spell well myself, and so um, that's not something, spelling is not something that's that important to me related to, um, how people, because usually I can figure out what they're trying to say. So I'll see you later. Well, I like my flower here. This was a nice conversation, and um, yeah, it was a nice conversation. And so we don't want, I don't know how the young person got on what. They must be using their mom's phone, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I know, I had that happen with Facebook, and I'd said this before, that there were people who used their parents' phones, and that's one of the things that the politicians talk about from time to time, and they will say that the politicians will say, "Oh, well, a kid is going to figure out how to do something." They said just all you have to do is put a kid on the internet, and if you make something and you ban it from them, they're going to figure out another way on how to do it. Oh my goodness, they look so much prettier when I put them through like this. They look a whole lot prettier. That is really pretty. I know I was told the other day by AI Donald Trump that I was like a goody two shoes stick in the mud. That's what he called me, was a goody two shoes stick in the mud. And it's like, well, I'm glad you feel that way. Um, people who grew up Christian and in a very conservative household, and we were taught to control our emotions and control our presence and our being. Unfortunately, they're the ones who voted for him for president. And, it's like, to me, I never cared who the person voted for. Um, I just see a problem within the, um, how things are done. That's the only thing I see. And, but now he's going to do this to people who are Christians. I mean, the truth of the matter is, though, the truth of the matter, the truth of the matter, the socially unacceptable truth of the matter is that Christians are very hypocritical. There is a truth in that. There's a big truth in that. I like my flower. Kind of grows on me. I almost feel like it needs a little bit more. My flower needs a little bit more. Um, let's see. Maybe we should add a tiny bit of, let's see what happens. We add a little bit of red down here. Just a tiny bit. Ooh, are we going to get it popping out? We are. We're going to get it. I'm wondering, though, if I should have put a little bit of yellow. Okay, I'm not going to do this too dark. Because, oh yes, it's showing up orange. How nice. Nice, it's showing up orange. So we want to do a little bit of that. I get a little bit of center in here. I've kind of felt like it was missing a little bit of something. Okay, I got a little bit of... You know, now with All Nover expressing about watching cartoons, if we didn't have the internet or TV, we would not be able to watch cartoons. The only thing that we would have is comic books and Sunday morning newspapers. And so Donald actually, AI Donald called me an old fuddy-duddy, sort of, for bringing up things from the past. He called me an old fuddy-duddy. And I thought it was kind of funny because oftentimes every day I see elderly folks who are in their anywhere from 50 to 105 years old. And isn't that what they're going to have, is their thoughts from the past? But yet Donald called me an old fuddy-duddy, pretty much, for talking about things from the past that he really doesn't want to talk about. You know, such as inflation. You know, he's mentioned inflation a little bit, but I really don't think he wants to do anything about inflation or bring prices down at all. He talks about it and mentions inflation a little bit, but I really don't think he wants to do anything about inflation. And I just kind of feel like I've, you know, said all that I can say. It's like, you know, it's like beating a dead horse. You know, when I can have a better conversation with a brick wall than with these politicians. Oh my gosh. Oh, I can't believe that. This just popped out. The center just popped out so good. I added a little tiny bit of red and a little bit of yellow. And look at how that popped that out. That's really pretty. You know. Well, this will be fun using, I'm going to make a little AI. I'm not sure what, but a little bit of an AI artwork with artificial intelligence when I'm done with this video. I like that. I'm not sure which filter I'm going to use. Not sure exactly which one I'll use. That's really pretty. Jesus is king. I think I have a video where I used, that one was funny. That one was really funny. Jesus is king. I made a video of AI Donald Trump. I can't show anything. I mean, excuse me. I can't show anything on my screen and put things up there because the network people have things that are different from the rest of us who are independent content creators. And so I don't have the means to be able to insert. So if I'm doing a live stream and then I just want to block myself from being on camera and I want to do a podcast or a radio type podcast, I don't have the means to be able to take pictures or show my videos and things like that, or show things that I've made. And so, but this guy keeps popping up who says, why why put your effort into those who have no desire to help you out? And sometimes I wonder if that's what he's talking about, is the people on the internet and YouTube, who have no desire to promote you. Well, why waste your time promoting them? And there is a element of a big truth with that. It's like, well, and I've said that about the networks, for example, like the old traditional TV stations and radio stations. And I've said they don't amount to anything any more than a YouTube channel, to one YouTube channel. So a lot of times at these radio stations, you can have one guy who is just making a playlist of music, and he is just no different than a YouTube channel who has let's say he owns the channel, and then he could have maybe a couple of other people working on his YouTube channel. So the guests, they call them the guests. And so maybe they could be working together, earning revenue. Maybe they're relatives, maybe they're not. Maybe they're just people that they met from college or something like that. And kind of like, what's his name? The guy they called Chen Unger, or what is his name? He's catching a lot of flack right now from people because I was told that he was part of MSNBC. And he went hard taking on that role of MSNBC. But I remember when his YouTube channel was absolutely nothing. I mean, his YouTube channel was nothing, nothing, nothing at all. And I actually had more subscribers than him. But, somehow they end up getting promoted really, really, really heavily. And the rest of us get left behind. So, we leave comments for them in their comment section. And then it becomes the one-sided love thing. They don't want to do anything to help anybody else as far as that goes. And so YouTube had talked about the collaborations and curating content. They said sometimes there's just people who will curate content. And it's like, well, why should I waste my time curating content for a bunch of other people who are not interested in actually helping me out or curating my content? Now, at the beginning of YouTube, there were people who were curating my content. But for something happened and all that stopped. And then it just didn't work anymore. So, but it seemed to have to coincide with Los Angeles and people who are exclusive to networks. And it's like, well, okay, you're exclusive to a network, or you're exclusive to a website, or you're exclusive to Facebook or TikTok or Twitter. And that's what we get a lot of times. That's what we had a lot of times on Facebook and YouTube. I mean, so it wasn't necessarily that the employees from those websites weren't using other websites. What they're doing, is they'll come on to YouTube. Now, YouTube got popular really fast, and it had an emphasis in video curation. Facebook didn't have that at first. They're still not very good with it. And so we would get, now I want to say maybe they were Facebook employees, but, in both places we would, like on YouTube, I'd say, well, I'm over on Facebook. You want to go over there? And they're like, no, I don't use Facebook. Same thing with Twitter. It's no, I don't use Twitter. And, so the thing is, it's like, well, what's good is Twitter for? They had short videos, but it's not even a video site. It's for curating content. It's where you pop out a link, you share it to the website, you pop it out, you link drop it, and that's how you get more views, is by sharing your own links. Maybe your viewers and followers will share it for you, but nowadays it's going to be really hard because it sounds like PewDiePie from Disney, and Trump mentioned PewDiePie the other day. It sounds like PewDiePie from Disney He's the one who's notorious because he lives in another country. I think he lives in France, maybe. Now, he's the one who actually was showing how he would pay people from other countries, I guess because he lives in another country, but he was paying people from the islands to promote his content, and then they got the idea that's a job. They got the idea that's a job, and they're like, oh, well, your YouTube channel's not going to amount to anything. That's what they're telling me with this one. It's never going to amount to anything unless I hire them. And it's like, well, okay, I'm not making any money. Why would I want to hire you to do a job when I'm not making any money? Do you want to do it for free? And I asked a guy that when I was the last year when I was living in the house. He came by. He wanted to cut the trees down. And he says, well, I just thought I'd let you know that the branches being right there are going to start lifting up the shingles on your roof. And I thought, oh, okay. I told him thanks. I talked to him a little bit, told him thanks. He says, I didn't know if you needed some tree service. And I told him, I said, well, there's things I just can't afford. And do you want to do it for free? And he said, no. So that's the thing, when you don't have an income to do things, do you want to do it for free? The answer is no. Most people will say no. They don't want to do it for free. So the thing is, the service industry of going and begging and soliciting at people's homes for services is that one's messed up. That service industry is very, very messed up, because that's where you get the vacuum cleaner salesperson from back in the day who goes door to door. And we heard a lot of, even in the small town that I grew up in, we heard a lot about that. The vacuum cleaner salesman. And eventually my dad got mad at my mother. He got upset because he said women have been abused and attacked from the vacuum cleaner salesman. But I was thinking, maybe that's why he quit, because I think my dad may have briefly been a vacuum cleaner salesman. I think he was briefly. He was trying to do things because the jobs did not exist. The jobs did not exist where I grew up in the Midwest. It was self-employment. So when these people talk about jobs existing, they are full of baloney. They are full of shit. The jobs do not exist. So in the Midwest, it was people getting married. So a woman would get married to a man, and I guess the government thought, plus we're getting inflation at the same time. And so this is what I call into question, is like, okay, so if you have a country, and this has nothing to do with the women's lib movement. A lot of people want to blame a women's liberation movement and say that women want to work. It's like, well, first of all, we have more women than we have men in the United States. And so every woman is not going to be matched up with a man. And the truth of the matter is, every woman is not going to be compatible with a man, the same thing that a man is not going to be compatible with a woman. It takes a lot of work for a two-person relationship to actually work. And the two people of a man and a woman should want to be together, not forced, not coerced to be together. They should want to be together. So you can't just, say, oh, well, we think these two people would work together just because they're wearing the color purple today. Or we think these two people would work together because they're short. So we think this man and this woman is going to work together because they're short. Or we think this man and this woman is going to work together because they're skinny. Or we think this man and this woman is going to work together in a relationship because they're a little bit chubby. The thing I've seen in the past is that there's been both. You've had a man who is skinny and he's with a chubby woman, or you've had a woman who's very skinny and she's with a chubby man. And, you know, so it's like, well, just because you have two gray-haired people to get around each other does not mean that they want to be together. Or just because you have two people who have brown hair or red hair does not mean they want to be together. You know, so, or just because you have someone who wears um, pink and yellow uh, shirts does not mean they want to be together. So does every person who wears a yellow shirt want to be married to someone else who wears a yellow shirt? Or the same thing with an orange shirt. Does every person who wears an orange shirt want to be married to someone else who wears an orange shirt? Or they drive an orange car? Do you really think that all these people want to be matched together by artificial intelligence in that sense? You know, or someone who dyes their hair orange, then wants to be married to someone wearing an orange jumpsuit who's part of NASA or something, or part of the Space Force. I don't even know who's wearing orange jumpsuits anymore. I see them in pictures all the time. They're wearing the orange jumpsuits. I don't know if that's NASA or Space Force, or if it's a joke, or I have no idea, because I don't know who's wearing the orange jumpsuits anymore. I mean, orange is a nice color, though. I mean, I like the color orange, but there was a time that I got a little bit upset with the color orange, too. It's like, well, wait, this is getting carried out of hand. You know, it's like, okay, so after September 11th, let me see if can do this. We had, after September 11th, we had the color codes. We had orange was high alert. I believe we had red, and then we had yellow, and I think we had green, and then blue, maybe? I don't remember. Oh, you came back. You came back. So I think these were the color alerts after September 11th. I'm not sure, but I think these were the color alerts after September 11th. And so orange was high alert, red was high moderate alert. This was extremely high. This was a little bit higher. This was kind of neutral. Green was a low level alert, and blue was pretty much no alert, or maybe it was this way around. I'm not sure. I don't exactly remember, but I think that it was because yellow and green blend together better than, yellow and green blend together better than blue and yellow. These are contrasting fighting colors. Well, thanks for coming back, Allnover. And so this is where the color code came from. And so there has been a real life joke that somebody has been doing. And this is because of, I don't what you're talking about, but okay. Oh, so you don't know what the color codings are? So you haven't learned in school about the color levels related to the country in the United States being on high alert during after September 11th. So they came up with this thing of high alerts for attacks on the United States after September 11th. Oh, you're Egyptian. That's right. You're Egyptian. So that's not something that would even matter to you. Yeah, that's right. Wouldn't even matter to you. Yeah, here in the United States, we had a thing, because of what happened with September 11th, they came up with these color coding. And so they used, some of these are safety. Actually, all of these colors are used for safety colors too, in construction and inside of, for road work people. Oh, 9/11, yes. 911, yes. And so, construction workers and manufacturing workers, they also wear the color orange, because they're bright colors, and that's so they can be seen by the side of the road. Sometimes they'll wear the color red, but most of the colors they wear is orange and yellow. Orange and yellow are the two colors that they wear all the time. And so a lot of times they'll wear an orange shirt and then they'll have a reflective yellow on the shirt. So it'll be a reflective type of a tape that's sewn to the shirt, and so that they can be seen. And because so many of our construction workers, well, we have people who are paid by they're paid by our state governments to do work in the ditches, and so they'll mow the lawns. They sometimes, if they have money, they'll fix the roads, and so they usually wear orange and yellow. They wear orange and yellow all the time. And now sometimes people have kind of made jokes for the people who have been born with traumatic brain injuries, and they'll put orange on them when they take them out in public, which is kind of sad. But that's because that's what they were teaching back in the day, that people who were born with traumatic brain injuries they might get angry really fast. And so, so the thing is like there is people who have, who is your favorite writer of all time? I don't, myself, me, I'm my favorite writer of all time. I was going to say I can't think of anybody, but myself is. If I can't think of somebody, it's myself. I am. That's, I'm the one who has to work on building myself and my self-esteem by myself. And I would say me. And I'm a really good writer too. I didn't realize I was that good at writing. I mean, writing for me was, oh my goodness. When I went to college, I had fun taking the course, and I thought, well, usually I got 80%. When I took the test to go into college, I got 80%. With what was the test I had to take before going to college? I can't remember. I think it was just a test to make sure. They said it was just to make sure that I actually knew English. And so I don't know what they said everybody had to take the test. So it wasn't an ACT or SAT. Mine is Ichiro Oda, the man who wrote One Piece. Oh, yeah, I have no idea who that person is. So he's someone over in Egypt who wrote that? Uh, I just didn't know that people over in Egypt did things like the internet like we're doing now. I had absolutely no idea that they were interested in um, social media. One Piece, when I hear One Piece, it kind of makes me think of onesie. The word onesie. So babies, when they're infants, they wear a onesie, which is, let me see if I can draw a picture. I'll get my napkin artwork out here. We'll leave this right here, but I'll draw on a napkin and see if I can make a picture. We'll do some napkin artwork here. And so, for example, we'll make a little baby face right here, and we'll draw some little hairs here, and we'll make some great big, well, the great big doe eyes is what everybody calls them, because they're all wide-eyed and they got weird little smiles on their faces. And so we'll draw we'll draw a little weird neck right here. And then we'll draw just kind of an oval little chubby body right here. And then some little fat hands and fingers right there, because babies are kind of chubby. Oh, like that. And so then we'll draw some little, some feet. Okay, so one of the best outfits for babies is a onesie. And so the onesie is, it's an outfit. It's a little t-shirt that you put on the baby like that. And then, so for easy diaper changes, then usually they have snaps down here at the bottom. A snap, I don't know if they use Velcro. I'm thinking Velcro might not be a good idea if they do use Velcro, because the Velcro could actually itch their legs right here. But they had snaps. And so they had a t-shirt, and then it was like a onesie outfit that was kind of like t-shirt, and then it would kind of go up around their legs like this, and then the baby would have a onesie. So there's the little baby like that. The man is a chiro. That almost sounds like a hero. A chiro. A chiro. A chiro. A chirota. A chirota. A chirota. A chirota. Ichirota. And so sometimes in the little baby outfit, they will have little designs, like maybe little lines or something, or and then it just makes it easier for mom and dad to change diapers with the snaps. And then they can't crawl out of the outfit either, because babies like to just throw their clothes off. They just like to, I don't know why they do that. My kids did that, and it's like that was kind of an ongoing. I'm sure it still exists, that they're bad. And when they get to be, when a baby gets to be 2 to 3 years old, they just take their clothes off. They just strip everything off. They don't want to have any clothes on at all. And it can be the most inconvenient time, maybe grandma and grandpa are coming over, or company's coming over, and next thing you know, Mr. Toddler here decides we want to just take everything off, including our diaper. We've pooped our pants. We've pooped our pants and taken the diaper off. Now there's a poopy mess in the bedroom. There's poop all over the walls, all over the place. And there's then Stinky decides to come out into the living room, and the community health nurses decided to stop by because somebody decided to call the police, or decided to call community services, because they said that this little toddler's mom is bad. Mom is bad. So let's try mom. Mom is bad. But they don't factor in that this little guy is smart, and he's the one that's being naughty and decides to take all his clothes off because mom was distracted for a little bit. And just in that few minutes, they are just quick change artists and just can be completely in the buff in no time whatsoever. I mean, everybody who's been a parent knows that toddlers are bad, and they can be really, really bad. And then they sit there and look innocent at you. It's just like the dog. Why should I hear this? I mean, like, aren't you a kid? I mean, one day you might be a parent. I don't know. I guess it's kind of the same thing. I'm wondering why I should hear about anime or whatever, or this guy. I have no idea who he is. I've wondered the same thing too. I mean, we've had people. Are you guys reporting on storms over in Egypt that have happened in the United States? I've been wondering that. I mean, because well, the whole premise of advertising is that you advertise. Well, let's see if I can draw this. A picture of the Sinai Peninsula kind of looks a little bit like this. And isn't there like two bodies of water that go out into the ocean? So let's say this baby here is now in the ocean, the Mediterranean Sea. The Mediterranean Sea. But you're still a child, though. Do you have siblings, brothers and sisters? I don't know what you want me to talk about because you just told me that you're 12 years old. I have my YouTube set for adults only. So I don't know how you got on my live stream. And that's what I'm wondering. And so you're telling me that you're 12 years old. And so I am talking about things that I think kids would be interested in, which is babies, toddlers, siblings, clothes, things that kids are interested in. And so I was thinking over here, I don't know, and right here, maybe in here is the Great Pyramids of Egypt. I mean, they're kind of a square like this, and then they meet up here at the top. So the pyramids are right there like that. A storm happened in Egypt, Alexander, many people died. We never hear about storms in Egypt. I mean, do you guys have a weather reporting system in the cave system over there? I mean, do you guys have TV in your caves in the Middle East, in Egypt? I mean, I know in this area of Egypt there's a whole bunch of hieroglyphics on the walls. Let's spell that out. I'm probably gonna. Oh, the guy Echiro. So Hieroglyphics. I don't have the proper spelling, so that might be wrong, but I write hieroglyphics. So I'm, in artwork on the walls, artwork on cave walls, on cave walls. Why am I writing two A's at the beginning of artwork? But I just did on the cave walls. And I know Trump keeps saying we're not going to talk about the walls, but yes, we are going to talk about them again. We're going to talk about cave walls. Absolutely. We're going to be talking about the cave walls. I mean, should I do a Trump impersonation? But I've got such a hot, beautiful wife, and none of this matters. The only thing that matters is we're going to make America great again and again, and again and again and again. America is going to be made great again and again and again. We're not going to talk about building a wall, but we're going to talk about cave walls in the Middle East. A storm happened in Stormy Daniels is in Egypt. A Strom Thurmond. Are you talking? Who was Strom Thurmond? I always have to look up to see who he was because it's some of the American history related to the names are familiar with a lot of the more famous leaders, civic leaders, and leaders of the United States, and then sometimes I forget about them. But let's see who's Strom Thurmond. Oh, the name Thurman. Donald was saying something very, very funny about Randy today. He was talking about, Big D Randy. I think that's a song. Big D Randy. That's a song. Let's look up Strom Thurmond. Strom Thurmond. Strom Thurmond was a National Governors Association, born in Edgefield, South Carolina, December 5th, 1902, attended the public schools, graduated Clemson College in 1923. But we are going to make America great again and again and again. A storm happened in Egypt. Alexander, many people died. Millie. Or Arnold Schwarzenegger. Was it Arnold Schwarzenegger that led the troops into the Middle East? Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger was the bear. who was in the Middle East, wasn't he? Arnold Schwarzenegger or Schwarzkopf? Arnold Schwarzkopf? Alexander Arnold Schwarzkopf? Yeah, Alexander Millie Schwarzkopf is who is in the Middle East. Alexander Millie Schwarzkopf. They called him the bear. And yeah. And so over in the Middle East, the Sinai, they call it the Sinai Peninsula, Saini. I think I spelled that wrong. Is it Sinai? Sinai Peninsula? Um, a storm happened in Egypt. I'm going to go over here and see what I can find here on Google Maps and look at Egypt. EGYPT. Oh, come on. EGYPT. Okay. Oh, there is a place called Alexandria. I didn't know that there's a place called Alexandria in the Middle East. And so there is kind of a, oh, I got my peninsula wrong. So actually, this part is going back to, well, okay, so Israel would be up here. Israel, the Gaza Strip is over here. Israel and the Gaza Strip is over here. So if we do it this way, the Gaza Strip is over here, and then Cairo is off over here. Alexandria is up there. Tanta. I didn't know that there was an Alexandria in the Middle East. Cairo, Egypt. The 10th of Ramadan City. Banna, Banna. Tanta, Port Said, Demita, Baltam, Rosetta, El Gami, Damanhour. That's some interesting names. Zagzig. There is literally a place. It's called the Governorate of Egypt. Zagzig. How odd. El Hiri and Zagazig and El Sharkia. I had absolutely no idea all that was over in the Middle East. That is very interesting to take a look, and they've updated a lot of that stuff. It still doesn't look, it looks like they have some farming and some things have grown over there where there's the bodies of water, which some have said that's an experiment, and the experiment actually seems to be working, where they're planting some farm fields over there. So whoever went to war over there is replacing the vegetation that they know will grow, because they've said right next to the, what is this? Wait a minute, did they plant a bunch of trees inside of a riverbed? And there's cities inside of a riverbed? That's what it looks to me. It looks to me along the natural terrain that there's a whole bunch of cities that are in the middle of the riverbed of the Sinai Peninsula. And that's why we see these videos of cities that get flooded in that area, because they are living in a riverbed. Oh, the Nile River. So there's a big body of the Nile River, but then there's another larger body of water, which is, oh, the Red Sea. So it looks to me that maybe the Red Sea, the Nile River, and if there was actually water between the Nile River and the Red Sea, that the land has either pushed up further or the water has gone down deeper into the below the earth. I don't know. Am I still on here? Yes, I'm still on here. I am. Sunday, the Brooklyn Tavern. Oh, I was listening to them earlier. They're pretty good singers. Okay, so I think that I think this is where I'm going to end because I've been on here for 2 hours and 16 minutes. And so I have to go to a map in order to see that, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to show you guys where I'm talking about. It's actually too much work for me to just show you on my screen, you know, unless I can grab things and incorporate it into the video. It's too much work, and then I never show it to you the right way anyway, so it seems kind of pointless. Many people died. So are you talking about Operation Desert Storm? Because Operation Desert Storm was in Saudi Arabia, I thought. I was pretty positive it was in Saudi Arabia. But where is Saudi Arabia? Saudi Arabia. Because they did not go to the Sinai Peninsula. They went to Saudi Arabia. Let's see where Saudi Arabia is. Egypt, let me find. I don't see it on here right now. There is Armenia, Georgia, and Azerbaijan are right there together. Romania is near Bucharest. Bulgaria, North Macedonia, Albania, Greece, Athens, Izmir, Bursa, Odessa, Moldova, Romania, Hungary, Slovakia, Ukraine, Krakow, Czechia, Austria. It was the Czech Republic when I lived there. Germany, Luxembourg, Belgium, Netherlands, Hamburg, Berlin, Poland, Gdansk, Lithuania, Vilnius, Belarus, Denmark, Moscow, Latvia. Let's see what else we got. The Black Sea, Istanbul, Bursa, Izmir, Greece, Cyprus, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Baghdad, Kuwait. Oh, Kuwait. Wait a minute. Okay, Kuwait is the little... Baghdad is in Iran. No, Baghdad is in Iran. Okay, what happened to Saudi Arabia? Okay, Syria. Did Saudi Arabia just disappear? What happened to Saudi Arabia? I'm not seeing Saudi Arabia. The United Arab Emirates. Oman. Oh, there's Saudi Arabia right there. Okay. Okay, because Kuwait was the little part that Saddam decided he wanted to steal from. He decided he wanted to steal Kuwait because he said that Saddam said that Kuwait used to belong to Iraq, so he decided he was just going to take that land back. And so that's why the United States went over to the Middle East to go into Kuwait, because Saddam wanted the money that Kuwait was producing for oil, because they're an oil-rich country. So the water has pushed and receded down lower, which is why the oil companies are over there. And so the oil companies can actually drill easier over in the Middle East for oil, because the water is lowering, and so the bottom of the ocean is the Middle East now in the desert areas, and so that's why they like going over there. And so everything is, this is my theory, I should have said that first, that's just my theory. That's why they go over there, is because the water has receded so much, and that's why they're over there, is drilling for oil. Everyone's over there drilling for oil, so that's why it's an oil-rich country. But at the same time, yes, it probably does make it harder for people to live who already live there, because if they're having the same problems that we have here in the United States, they're displacing the oil caverns, and then I would think that there would be, I would think that there would be land collapsing in those areas. So there's Kuwait City. Then south of there is Saudi Arabia, Bahrain. There's Qatar, Dubai, United Arab Emirates, Muscat. Dubai is interesting because Dubai, this whole area kind of reminded me a little bit of Las Vegas, because they were setting up all these casinos over in the Middle East. And I thought, how strange is that? Because do people in the Middle East, are they putting that much money into casinos? I found that so strange. It's like, really? Sinna, Sinma, Sinmah. That's in, I believe, Saudi Arabia. Shaya, Ashamui, Ayatollah, something like that. Oct, something like that. I'm not sure how to pronounce a lot of these names. Radat Nura, Tamar, is it Tamar or Tamir? Let's see. That is Tamir. Laura Hotel. So Lara Hotel. Let's see what that is. They have, what in the world? Oh, wow. My goodness, they have got some fancy hotels over there. Good grief. They've got some fancy hotels over there. I saw in Tamir, they have, it kind of looked like a woman in a wedding dress, which is kind of funny. They have a picture, and there's some plastic that is on the, I don't know what you'd call it, the bellhop that you have to push yourself. And it looked like a woman. That's funny. There's a purse hanging there. Let's see. Oh, the rooms look really, really nice. Oh my goodness, they look really nice. But I know they said that they share with their people over there, and they put money back into, and they share with their countries. That's been my understanding in the Middle East, that they actually share with their people. And it sounds like that when they make profits, the other countries actually share with their people. Not the United States, though. No, capitalism is the greedy. Not in the United States. They don't share with anybody. But other countries will share with their people. Well, maybe not. I have to take that back. Over in the Middle East, it doesn't seem like they're sharing very well. Well, somehow they'd have to take care of all their people, though, and they are putting some investments into Egypt up there. But see, Egypt, I think what I had said at one time was Egypt, let's see if I can find, okay, Egypt, it looks like it's a waterway. It's all green. And then there's Cairo, there's a river, and all the green that is in the river, there's a bunch of cities there. So they are living in a swamp, basically, that probably fills up every so often. So if they get a lot of rain, or if what is this waterway? If the Mediterranean Sea floods, then that area of the Nile River through Cairo is going to get a bunch of water going down there. And that is why those cities flood, because they built their cities in a flood zone. That's a solid flood zone there. A big flood zone. It looks familiar. Looks like a familiar flood zone. You built a bunch of people, a bunch of houses, a bunch of cities right there. There's a lot of greenery going on in that area. The Nile River is off over there. And then to the other side, there's just nothing but a bunch of sand. On either side is just sand, but right where the water is at, there's a bunch of green stuff. Alfie Goodwin. Alfie Goodwin is from TikTok. I don't know who that is, but Alfie reminds me of like alfalfa. Will you swing me before you have lunch? Sure, Darla. I won't do that. You're part of the He-Man Woman Haters Club. Musha. Musha is Bamusha Mosque. There's a Bamusha Mosque in Musha. Musha and Bumusha. Sheikh Abdul Fattah Bamusha Mosque is, wow, it's a tower. There's a tower over there. A really tall tower. Let's see if I can see. Yes, they absolutely do have a communications tower on top of their mosque. So it seems like these tall mosques are nothing more than a disguise for communications towers, or that's kind of what it looks like. I mean, they may not even have a church or a mosque in there at all as far as that goes, but they got their communications. Let's see what this is. There's a lot of there's a lot of sand on top of the houses there in Musha. Shahabite Mosque. Let's see what Shahabite Mosque looks like. Oh, there's no picture. No picture of Shahabite Mosque. But there's a lot of mosques over there. If they're tall mosques, why do they not want us? There's another mosque. What's this one? American football field. They've got an American football field over there. That is so weird. American football. Now this is funny. This is funny. Okay, so I have no idea what. Okay, it says American football field is where I tapped on, and there's a kid sitting down on the sand, I guess, and then there's like 4 kings behind him that are carved out. I don't even know how to describe where this is at, but it's actually kind of funny. Oh, he's taking a picture of himself. He's taking a picture of himself. It looks like the Nile River, maybe. Oh, and there's another guy here. He's taking a picture of himself. He's got on some bright green neon shorts and an olive drab green shirt, taking a picture of himself right next to the ocean. He doesn't look like he's starving by any means, and he is running out of the water like he was just on Baywatch. Oh, he's taking another picture of himself. Oh my gosh, where did he get those clothes? He looks like he's very wealthy and well taken care of over there. Now he's taking another picture of himself. This is the same guy. Maybe he's the only one that's living there in that town. He's the only one. He's taking a picture of the bottom of his shoe and pointing at the camera. And to me, it looks like they're doing a bunch of fashion modeling over there in the Middle East, in the Egypt area. They have got, it looks like some sugarcane or some casinos or something going on. And he's showing off inside of one of the mosques, it looks like. They have got a shopping mall. He's next to the ocean again. He likes the ocean. Now this is the same guy. He's in front of one of the pyramids now, taking a picture of himself. So this guy really likes taking pictures of himself over in the Middle East. He's a young guy that might be 22 years old at the oldest. I don't know what his name is. He's sitting on some steps now. Okay, let me see where this is at. It says football field. At Asyut Government 71744 is the zip code, I think, in Egypt. Let's see. Asyut, Egypt is where he is at. translated by Google, is this a residential place? Someone had asked us 3 years ago. It says yes. Response from the owner. They're asking if it's a residential place. And so they're questioning, it sounds like, Asyat, married to Murmo Alamin. So they're questioning if this place is actually real, if it really exists or not. So there's something, it sounds like there could be some shenanigans going on in Asyat. Asyat, Asat, Asyat, 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 Egypt. 465J plus VM Asyat, Egypt. So I don't see, let me see if I can find a geographical. Okay. The longitude and latitude is 27.10992, comma, 31.23174. And so I've seen this before where I've questioned, it's like, wait a minute, you guys are, let's look at Bamusha Mosque. Bamusha Mosque, let's see what that is. Oh, that's the one we already looked at. We have already looked at Bamusha Mosque. Government office. So they're showing a government office as a casino. Bel Air Azure Resort. Did they just steal these pictures from the United States? Is that what they're doing? Bel Air Azure Resort, Kakuzla, Vikuvi, Kakuzla, Vikuvi. Bel Air Azure Resort. This is from February of 2019 in the Middle East. They've got a bunch of sailboats over there. They've got some, what looks like ruins of something there. It looks like a bunch of stuff has fallen down. It's in a state of disrepair. Ancient ruins. And so this is Mabruk Nasser in Luxor. Oh, Luxor. Well, this is interesting. Now, Luxor, what does that say? Luxor. Now, I know that I read something the other day that said the Luxor Casino in Las Vegas is going to be torn down or remodeled or something, or going into different hands. And so this building has a big point, an obelisk in front of it, and there are like some kings in front of it or something. They're statues though. Now what is this one? This is a building in disrepair. It just, to me, it just looks like that there's buildings there, but not much for people to be able to survive. There's a bunch of buildings there. Yeah, another brick building that's kind of falling apart. What's this? They're calling this the Luxor. Let's see if there's a communications tower on top of it. This is what I'm seeing on Google Maps. It looks like there could be, but the stuff doesn't look like it's built very well. That's the thing I'm concerned about, is it's like a lot of it just doesn't look like it's built very well. But it says Luxor, the Temple Hotel and Spa. So there's a lot of casinos and hotels over in the Middle East, is what it sounds like to me. The old Egyptian village. Let's see what this is. There's a lot of tourism over there. It looks to me like there's a lot of tourism. There's a kiln there. It says the old Egyptian village, Bruno Labrie. And there's a old mud kiln there on the right hand side of the image. It looks like it's one of those things either you could cook glass in, or maybe they would use it at one time. There's a woman, she looks American. Now the guy's name is Ben Blaylock, February of 2023. So there's a woman in a video. Let me see. Let me play it. Oh, she's got some food she's cooking. Oh my gosh, that food looks really good. She's cooking it inside of these little pots that she's making. She looks American. She looks very American to me. The food looks really good though. And they are living, they have got this place that's all painted up there. They got the food. The food looks really, oh, they have got a restaurant over there. What is it called? Welcome to the Old Egyptian Village Restaurant, characterized by serving food in a way of the local people in terms of recipes where food is served in clay pots, with the possibility of make it yourself. To experience the localist food is a large part of every country's culture. So to get to know more about Egypt culture, here is a list of traditional Egyptian food when you are visiting Egypt. So they've got cold drinks, which the cold drinks is Coca-Cola, Sprite, Fanta, Diet Coke, mineral small water, and mineral large water. Stuffed chicken. Chicken stuffed with rice and vegetables or green wheat and herbs. First is boiled until cooked, then roasted. Stuffed pigeon. Apparently they eat stuffed pigeon, a traditional delicacy food. Pigeons, hammam. First it is boiled until cooked, then roasted. Duck stuffed. Stuffed with rice and vegetables or green wheat and herbs. Sharing cooking. If you're interested in sharing and learning cooking, this needs to make reservations and have a time at least. Oh, you have to make reservations. That's why people question if these restaurants are real, is if when you say you have to make reservations, that's why people question if the restaurants are real. If you are interested in the old Egyptian village, offers some activities such as horse, camel, and donkey rides. Visit the nearby sugarcane and banana plantations, and also every week a local market is held selling fresh fruits, spices, and other produce made by the locals. There's on the menu is a breakfast menu, egg, honey, and fresh cheese and salad. A vegetarian meal, vegetables, tagine and salad and rice and bread. A chicken meal, vegetables, tagine and salad and rice and bread. A beef meal, vegetables, tagine and salad and rice with bread. A hot drink, anise tea, Egyptian tea, hyphae, thabaisa, shisha smoking, hibiscus, dom tea, herbal tea, and hot mint tea. The food actually, it looks good, but I would have concerns because I would need to try a little bit first to make sure it's not going to give me indigestion if it has some of the only way I would know is to make sure that it doesn't have some of that stuff inside of it to make sure it's going to give me I don't want indigestion, because I know some of the Indian food is horrible. And so, and I want to avoid the Indian. Oh, that almost looks like, it looks good, but there's a big pot of something that looks cooked in tomato with some, I don't know if it's vegetables or what in it. But it's kind of interesting though, okay, so I found a restaurant there. Let's see here. Naga. There's a place called Naga. Nagaa. Naga Oz. Oh no, oh no, oh no. I just thought it was Nagaaz, Zanakta. Nagasonacta. Nagasonacta. Zanacta. This is in Monshot, Osmary, Luxor government. This is in Luxor. Very similar to Las Vegas. They have the Luxor there. The Nagas. Nagazzanaqtah. Trump is going to have fun with this one. I'm sure he will. Without a doubt, he's going to have fun with this name. There is a rental car place. Can you believe this? There is a rental car place in the Middle East. Did you guys know this? There is a rental car place and an airport. Apparently, you can rent a car in the Middle East. So how much war can be taking place? Okay, so Luxor International Airport, Monshot, Shaat. Have fun with that one. Al-Mari, Luxor Governorate is what they're calling it, a governorate. 85951 Egypt. It's called Sixth Rent-A-Car Luxor International Airport. Okay, I'm trying to find out more information about that. If there's some pictures, they don't have any pictures of their cars. There's no pictures. They're just showing it SIX. Oh my gosh. This is, I just discovered more. Oh no. Ooh, let's do a Donald Trump impersonation. Ooh, ooh, oh. Yeah, I see a problem there. Now you're not showing your cars. You're not showing your cars. I smell money. I smell a money launder. I smell a money laundering. It's sixt.com.eg. Oh, somebody's ass is going to hit the grass on this one. Okay, we got some money laundering potentially taking place out of the Middle East in Luxor. Sixt rent a car. Let's look at this here. It is sixt.com.eg rental car service. I smell a money laundering trap right here in the Middle East. There is something I don't believe that's going on there, that because when you don't show the cars, the cars that you're renting, and you're showing a picture of, all you're doing is showing a picture of the brand and a person dressed in orange. You're holding some kind of key. That's all you're showing. You're not showing no pictures at all of anything else. You're not even showing the cars that anybody would be driving. I suspect. I don't even see an airport right here. They said there's an airport there. Road leads to Oxford Airport. Minshat Al Amari. Okay, so Luxor International Airport. Okay, let's see. Luxor International Airport. Well, all you guys did is take and flip the name around backwards. That's all you're doing with American language, just with Middle Eastern, is flipping the words around backwards. That's all you guys are doing. That's all you're doing. Roxul, Roxul, and then you've got Arabic in the Middle East. That's all they're doing. It looks nice though. Luxor. It's L, so it looks like a J is at the end, but where it's that little J that goes down below the lowercase. Lux. Okay, so it's an L and a U and then a zero with the water sign above, and then the X and then the J and Joxul. Joxul. I don't know how you'd say it in Arabic, but it looks like Arabic is just flipping everything around backwards from the United States. That's all you're doing. That's what I see. Um, and then you add in some of those little swishes like from the keyboard. Beyond Hospitality. He's got a picture of advertisements called Beyond Hospitality. It doesn't look like anybody's. Oh, there is a few people sitting in the. Do they even have electricity at that airport? It doesn't look like they even have electricity at the airport. There's very few people there. What does this say? It says, "Smile. You are in Luxor International Airport," and they got a winky winky guy there. That's kind of funny. Oh, that's kind of funny. Well, at least Egypt has a sense of humor. So we've seen. Oh, look, Egypt is using the Google colors, Luxor. Looks. They don't. That's funny. They're not dressing up in their Middle Eastern traditional wear anymore. It would make it kind of hard. I'm thinking it would make it kind of hard to be loading and unloading the airplanes anymore nowadays. There's not a lot of people. They've got a baggage claim area. It doesn't look like there's a lot of people. And it really looks like a small town airport, you know. Um, I mean, it looks... they, they've got like a head of a woman and cement. It looks sort of cool because then there's hieroglyphics inside of the airport. So not on a cave wall anymore. The great architecture. There's another guy. He's posing for... You know who this guy looks like? He looks a bit like Tiger Woods, an aged Tiger Woods. That's who he looks like. And so he's got on a big long... now this guy, he's the only guy in the picture who's wearing a big long tan color. Well, what are those things called? They wear the sheets that they wear. His is tan color, and then he's got kind of a beige scarf wrapped around his neck. He's smiling, and he looks a little bit like Tiger Woods. Like maybe he's aged a little bit. But he's the only one there. The rest of them are wearing clothing. They're wearing normal pants and American things that everybody else in the United States wears. They look like American citizens to me for the most part. I can't tell the difference. But there's one guy who sticks out like a sore thumb who is wearing, it looks like a brown bed sheet or shower curtain. And he's got a beige colored eggshell scarf wrapped around his neck. And he looks a little bit like Tiger Woods, standing under the Luxor airport. Yeah, he does. Oh, I know who he looks like too. What was that guy's name? I can't remember his name. He did, what was the show he was on? His wife was Cookie. Empire was the name of the show. Empire, that they always said nobody watched it. I think I was one of the few only people who did watch it, because even back then they said nobody was watching that stuff. Tarek Al-Basha, 2024 picture, Luxor Airport. I don't know if that's him in the image, but he just kind of reminds me of that guy who did, let me see if I can find his, no, I'm not going to promote him. He's someone who ain't going to promote me or give me the time of day, so why bother? I'm not going to do it. But I will help some folks in Egypt, you know. I mean, this place in Egypt looks really nice. I would go there. If I had the money, I would go there. I would stay there if it was safe, you know, and it looks safe to me in the images. I always thought it would be fun to go visit Egypt. I think my camel riding days are over though. But I'm sure there's other things that I could find to do. I would recommend that they show pictures of the cars that you're going to be riding in and make sure that your car is not a camel. I mean, nobody wants to be getting into a camel and buggy wagon. No, nobody wants to do that. I mean, so I know sometimes advertising can be deceptive, and so that's what I'm wondering about some of this stuff here that I'm seeing and related to, you know, it's like what we hear on TV is completely different, and but yet at the same time there is they're talking about all this war going on. I do not want to go to a region of the world where war is going on. I just don't want to do it. You know, for tourism. I can't right now anyway, and I probably have to accept I will never make it over to the Middle East, and I'm fine with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. Because I like my own country and I would like them to get their act together. What is this? Oh, Lake Nassar. Wait a minute. Lake Nassar. Wait a minute. Lake Nassar. Lake Nassar. Well, do you guys remember the Olympic gymnast guy, Larry Nassar? I wonder if that's where he got his Nassar is kind of like NASCAR. You know, now some of them I will help. You know, some of them they do need help, like Larry Nassar. And then they said that the government did a big investigation and it turned out that everything was fake and that he never did anything to the gymnast girls, that they all lied. So they were taking on that role. The Olympics girls were taking on that role, and they were just lying to the TV and saying that their coach did something to them, which he didn't do. And then the government got involved, did a big investigation, and it turns out he didn't do it. He was cleared of all his charges, and they were lying on their coach. Well, why were they lying on their coach? I've still, that part has never been answered. Why were they lying on their coach that he did something to them that he never did? You know, so they didn't explain in great detail. And so they used kind of that, it was baiting is what they were doing. They were baiting. The gymnasts were baiting to try to garner some type of drama and interest in their sport, because for the most part, I guess people just aren't interested in it anymore. And it's the same principle as Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding from back in the day. Oh, and even the World's Fair with Richard Jewell up in Atlanta. Oh, wait, Richard Jewell. Who was the guy? Then whoever accused Richard Jewell, they lied about him. And Richard Jewell ended up passing away. And they made his life miserable for a really long time. And for what? And in media, you know. And so, yeah, the thing with Richard Jewell, that was 1996. And that was about the same time that we flew over to Germany the second time in 1996. So when did the Richard Jewell thing? Let me see. Let me look at that. The Richard Jewell, the Atlantic Park. Let me look up Richard Jewell. He was they said he was a law enforcement officer. Yeah, he was Richard Allensworth Jewell. was an American security guard and law enforcement officer who alerted police during the Centennial Olympic Park catastrophe at the 1996 Summer Olympics in Atlanta, Georgia. He passed away August 29th of 2007, Woodbury, Georgia. Okay, so let's look a little bit more here about what was going on there. Something was going on. Okay, 1996 Summer Olympics. So I guess they use that as clickbait to get people to be interested. Okay, the Olympic catastrophe, July of 27th of 1996. Oh, it had a relationship. This had a relationship to domestic terrorists who would later bomb a lesbian nightclub and two abortion clinics, placed a green backpack containing shrapnel-laden pipe bomb under a bench. Jewell was working as a security guard for the event. He discovered the bag and alerted Georgia Bureau of Investigation officers. The discovery was 9 minutes before Rudolph telephoned 911 to deliver a warning device to Jack Mack and the heart attack performance. Jewell and other security guards began clearing the immediate area so the bomb squad could investigate the suspicious package. The bomb exploded 13 minutes later, killing one person, later identified as Alice Hawthorne, and injuring more than 100 others. A cameraman also died of a heart attack while running to photograph the incident. Now, right around this time, okay, so 96, we flew to Germany, and the TWA airplane crashed that year. TWA 19, I think it was 1996 airplane crash. So it happened while we were in flight. On July 17th, July 17th, 1996, at approximately 8:31 p.m. EDT, 12 minutes after takeoff, the Boeing 747-100 serving the flight exploded and crashed into the Atlantic Ocean. So then the Olympic Park thing happened 10 days later. So the 17th was TWA. 10 days later was the Olympic Park bombing. Both of them are 7s, the 17th and the 27th, 1996. So legacy media was always talking about at that time too. They were saying, oh, well, all these big event gatherings, they were talking about football areas, football places, or were they seeing the growing popularity of big event venues? Maybe they were seeing that with the entertainment, travel, tourism, the expansion of all the big sports things. I think that in hindsight, when I'm thinking about this and talking it through, that makes the most sense, that they're making media larger and larger and expressing what entertainment is. Entertainment in the Olympics, entertainment, and then they want to keep it going for their own self because there's money in it. And that's interesting, though, because the two of them happened within 10 days of each other. Oh, no, my battery's going down. My battery's going dead. I'm going to have to get off of here. So let's recap. On July 17th, 1996, at approximately 8:31 p.m., 12 minutes after takeoff. I think that was probably the same day that we took off to Germany too, which is really, really, because it happened while we were in midair flight. 230 people on board died in the plane crash. It's the third deadliest aviation accident in U.S. history. Okay, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, if I'd have heard about that, I probably would have had a hard time getting on the airplane. And then Richard Jewell, what were the times that all that happened? July 27th, 1996. They don't have a time on here. There's no times listed. Jewell was never charged officially, but the FBI thoroughly and publicly searched his home twice, questioned his associates, investigated his background, and maintained 24-hour surveillance of him. The scrutiny began to ease only after Jewell's attorney hired an ex-FBI agent to administer a polygraph which Jewell passed. A Justice Department investigation of the FBI conduct found that the FBI had tried to cause Jewell to waive his constitutional rights by telling him he was participating with a training movie about bomb detection, although the report concluded no intentional violation of Mr. Jewell's civil rights and no criminal misconduct had occurred. Exoneration. On October 26, 1996, the U.S. Attorney in Atlanta, Kent Alexander, sent Jewell a letter saying, based on the evidence developed to date, Richard Jewell is not considered a target of the federal criminal investigation into the bombing on July 27, 1996 in Centennial Olympic Park in Atlanta. The letter did not include an apology, but in a separate statement issued by Alexander, Kent Alexander. The U.S. Justice Department regretted the leaking of the investigation. The separately issued statement said that Jewell endured highly unusual and intense publicity that was neither designed nor desired by the FBI and, in fact, interfered with the investigation, and that the public should bear in mind that Richard Jewell has at no time been charged with any crime in connection with the bombing. They never said that at that time. They were crucifying this man in the media. Richard Jewell was crucified. I mean, I hope, if anything, what happened is that he was able to change his name or something to something else, and that the man is still alive, and that what is that called? Oh, that they put him in the witness protection program because of all this publicity. I actually hope that is what happened, and that the man is still living, because they were so evil to him. The public should bear in mind that Richard Jewell at no time has been charged with any crime in connection with the bombing. Far be it for them to do that nowadays, or to say anything like that nowadays. And the property that was seized pursuant to the court-authorized search warrant has been returned. Really? They returned stuff to Richard? The New York Times reported that the statement was highly unusual because it was a tactic admission by the federal officials that they had been wrong in the suspicion of Mr. Jewell. Well, they're worse nowadays. Whoever's doing this stuff nowadays is worse. A press conference in July of 1997, U.S. Attorney General Janet Reno expressed personal regret concerning the leak that resulted in intense media scrutiny of Jewell. She said, "I'm very sorry it happened. I think we owe him an apology. I regret the leak." In 1998, Eric Rudolph was named as suspect in Centennial Park bombing, the bombings of abortion clinics. He was arrested. I had no idea all this stuff was going on back then. He was wait a minute. 96, 30 years ago, 2026, 20, right now is 29 years ago. It will be 30 years ago. He was arrested Eric Rudolph. He was arrested in 2003 after a lengthy manhunt. Rudolph later agreed in April of 2005 to plead guilty to the Centennial Park bombing and other attacks on the abortion clinic and the lesbian nightclub as part of a plea bargain to avoid the death penalty. In 2006, Georgia Governor Sonny Perdue honored Jewell for his rescue efforts during the attack and publicly thanked him for saving people's lives. Perdue said Jewell deserves to be remembered as a hero. Subsequent life and career of public appearances. And so he went on to become very famous. A libel case. After he was dismissed as a suspect, Jewell filed libel suits against NBC News, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, CNN, the New York Post, and Piedmont College. Oh my gosh, I agree with, hopefully he got a lot of money out of that. Defamation is mentioned. They cannot form the basis of a defamation act. Let's read this. The court concluded that because the articles in their entirety were substantially true at the time they were published, even though the investigation suspicions were ultimately deemed unfounded, they cannot form the basis of a defamation action. Well, why is it that the celebrities can form a defamation, but at the same time, they couldn't do a defamation against Richard Jewell? I find that kind of odd right there. Um, Although CNN settled Jewell's libel case for an undisclosed monetary amount, CNN maintained that its coverage had been fair and accurate. That's a lie. They're lying sacks of shit. All of them need to go away. Every last one of them. I agree with Trump on that, most definitely. Every last one of those um, fake news, they need put out of business. They need completely put out of business. Jewell sued NBC News for a statement made by Tom Brokaw. The speculation is that the FBI is close to making the case. They probably have enough to arrest him now, probably enough to prosecute him, but you always want to have enough to convict him as well. There are still some holes in this case. Even though NBC stood by the story, the network agreed to pay Jewell $500,000. Jay Leno also apologized during the Tonight Show episode on October 28, 1996. On July 23rd, 1997, Jewell sued the New York Post for $15 million in damages, contending that the paper portrayed him in articles, photographs, and an editorial cartoon as an aberrant person with a bizarre employment history who was probably guilty of the bombing. He eventually settled with the newspaper for an undisclosed amount. Jewell filed suit against his former employer, Piedmont College, its president Raymond Clear, and college spokesperson Scott Rawls. Jewell's attorney contended that Clear telephoned the FBI and spoke to the Atlanta newspapers, providing them with false information on Jewell and his employment and as their security guard. Jewell's lawsuit accused Clear of describing Jewell as a badge-wearing zealot who would write epic police reports for minor infractions. The college settled for an undisclosed amount. 2006, Jewell stated that the lawsuits were focused on vindicating his reputation rather than financial gain, highlighting that the vast majority of settlements were allocated to legal fees and taxes. Well, that's interesting. I'm going to have to go because my battery said it was not working as well. Am I still live? Let's see. I think I am. Yep, I sure am. Okay, yeah, I'm going to have to go. I've been on here for 3 hours.